All right, it's live.
Aha! Hallelujah!
So, this is things don't go according to plan all the time,
Sure.
and that's a part of learning lessons. You fuck up, then you learn a lesson.
You got that right.
So, what the intention was to record on some equipment for this episode with stuff I borrowed from my friend, but it uses AA batteries, and AA didn't want to work. So,
AA sucks. Very primitive.
get the lithium-ion rechargeable batteries.
Yes, also the environment. You know, we don't want to just clog the landfills with Duracells.
And they don't keep on. What is they just keep going.
Energizer.
And go. No, they don't.
They don't.
They're liars.
Liar.
Analyzer.
Yes, I like it. I love a good pun.
So, this is the first time I'm doing this way. So, that's, again, experience, something we're going to learn off of.
Oh, yeah. So,
I'm hanging in the hotel room, which I've never done. Never been in a hotel ever in my life. No, I'm kidding about that.
Amish?
What are you, Amish? Hanging out with Mark Norman in the hotel room, and we're recording a podcast on my iPad because it was a backup, and I apologize, but, you know, it's an evolving process. I constantly say it.
You got that right.
So, like, the stuff that fascinates me in the world is role models.
Mm-hmm.
I love being like, wow, I've been someone who can inspire somebody to do something else. What's your like thoughts on like what's like the ideal sort of archetype that would be like somebody you strive to be like, or maybe somebody who inspired you to be the way you are?
Wow, hey, that's a doozy. I'm all over the road with role models. You know Shep Gordon? You know who that is?
Yeah.
You've heard that?
I've heard the name, yeah. I don't know who he is, though.
He's, they call him Supermensch. He's like the nicest guy ever.
Yeah, they made that documentary.
Yes, yeah, he's got a book.
Okay.
He's a great guy, and he became a musical agent. Like,
Didn't Sandy Wexler was sort of based off of...
Oh, is that right? That could be true.
I'm asking because
I don't know, because Sandy Wexler was horrific as a movie.
Did you not like it?
Oh, garbage.
I mean, I appreciated it for what it was. Like, I didn't go into it with really high hopes.
Yeah.
So I kind of do that with a lot of things. Like, it's just like go in forgiving,
right,
and then you know, like that's kind of how I went into like relationships with women. I would be like, keep those expectations low.
Yes.
Keep those expectations low.
She's got a dick, but I forgive. No, I get it.
You start out forgiving.
Right. That's so I go through life that way as well. But yeah, so Shep Gordon, this guy out of New York, Jewish guy, moves to L.A., meets Janis Joplin, starts managing her, then meets Alice Cooper, who's nobody, and he has all these ideas. He's like, all right, we'll put your name on a bus, and they'll have the bus, quote-unquote, crash and break down in the middle of London. Mm-hmm. So now everyone sees your ad. I mean, he had all these, like, innovative ideas. He managed Teddy Pendergrass, Groucho Marx, all these crazy celebrities. Some fucking singer he had, Linda Ronstadt or somebody like that, where he got a photo of her with John Lennon, and he just pushed that out there, so everybody's like, oh, she knows Lennon, she must be huge, and that blew her up. Yeah. So he's a cool guy, and he helped everybody, then he got cancer, and it was a whole thing. Yeah. But he was like the nicest guy ever. And then like Larry David, I love bald Jews from New York, apparently. But
it has to be a combination of those three things.
Yes.
Otherwise...
Yes.
If he's a bald Jew and he's from, like, Jersey, screw that guy.
Right, no. It's got to be the Big Apple. But yeah, Larry David, this guy who struggled, he was a cab driver, he was poor, he was a brilliant comedic mind, and until really, he worked on a couple TV shows, but until Seinfeld said, hey, come right on my show, come help me, he wasn't really, no one really appreciated how brilliant he was, and now he's like a comedy legend, he's a staple. So I love these guys who are truly themselves, and they find a way to make it in by being them all the way. You know, you got all these guys like Larry the Cable Guy. He's a millionaire and famous and a household name, but he's just faking some character. Yeah. You know, he's Dan Whitney. He's not actually like this hick redneck idiot.
He thought of the bus driver stunt, like just like Shep Gordon Like,
oh, really?
No. This is not me telling you facts about Larry.
Oh, it's a metaphor.
I don't know Larry the Cable Guy. I mean, we don't call each other. I don't know him.
Yeah, that'd be odd.
It'd be like, well, Corey, this is how I really talk. I don't have that.
He does talk like that.
Yeah. So
Dan Whitney.
I don't know him, but I'm saying like he just thought of a way to market, just like Shep Gordon was just like, all right, people will buy this.
Right.
There's a market for it, and it's as much as I don't like staying on the topic so much, but the market for who will buy this thing if I decorate it this way, like sort of like Trump like turning everybody against everybody else, like it's everybody else's fault. So now these like nobodies, like these white trash, trailer trash guys now can look to a billionaire and relate with him because he's saying those Mexicans are the problem. We create a common enemy, so then we relate to each other.
There you go.
Maybe that's what Larry the Cable Guy. Oh, unboxing a conspiracy.
yeah, right. Well, yeah, Larry the Cable. I mean, he made it. He figured it out, and props to him for that. But I just like these guys who are completely genuine, who find a way to bring you to them. Larry the Cable Guy's like, I'll go to you. I'll say get her done, and you'll love it. But I like guys who go, I'm going to do it my way and make it quality. It's more real and genuine, and a lot of guys just, like Bill Burr is a guy I watch, and I go, man, he is so himself, and he found a way, because there's like a little gem in all of us somewhere, and you got to figure out how to shine that gem and then hide the other shit. And that's a horribly pretentious thing I just said, and cheesy as hell, but
I mean,
you get what I'm saying.
It applies. It's not something that is outrageous. It's something that really, truly applies.
Yeah, and it's in us.
Sincerity and who you truly are.
Yes.
If that shines through and if who you truly are is a piece of shit, then
make
be somebody else.
Well, no. If you're a piece of shit, find that way to spin it,
right?
To be interesting and have fans and people get you and understand you and enjoy you.
Like, you try to learn and teach at the same time.
Aha! Yes, that's big. You got to keep learning.
Yeah.
If you can't go left, go left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big. Those guys are like big inspirations for me.
Anybody like? It's weird because like.
Oh God! No, thank you.
Okay, acting took you deal.
Well, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Housekeeping. Having sex. Unless you want to join. Oh wow, she's giggling.
She didn't say no thank you.
She didn't. She's got a key. She can come in anytime she wants.
She did not say no thank you.
No.
But yeah, man, I mean, let's say, okay, I've been in the wrestling business for a really long time, so I meet a lot of my heroes. And a lot of times you meet these heroes and they're pieces of shit.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, how often does that happen in the comedy game? I mean,
well, I think
sorry for being such a I'm a reporter who's asking you questions about a thing.
Please, that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
You always meet people, and it's never because you build this thing up in your head of who they are, and it's never going to be that thing because you built it up and they're a real person. So it's never what you want. But I met Seinfeld. He was kind of scary, but I mean, who doesn't owe me anything? He doesn't have to sign anything for me and kiss my ass. So, but I think that's what people think. They go, "I'm a huge fan. I've been watching everything you do. Why are you so mean to me?" He's like, "I'm not mean to you. I'm just treating you like a person I don't know."
Right.
So
you can know me all really well, but I don't know you at all.
Yeah, I don't know you at all. I don't owe you anything. So I totally get it. I'm not one of these idiots who's like, "Oh, he didn't kiss my ass. What the hell?" But there's a few guys who I don't want to mention who are kind of just mean dudes where you're like, you're just not a good guy in general, not just to me.
No, you don't want to mention it because you don't want to give them the press, or you don't want.
Well, I see them all the time, and they're well known.
Yeah. Okay. I know exactly what you mean. I've met recently some names in wrestling, people who I idolized when I was a kid, and they're judgmental.
Oh yeah, of course.
Just awful people, and I was like, how did you? And then it was oh, do you have to be a piece of shit to make it in this business?
Yeah, you start wondering that.
And then I'm like, oh well, I took a quote from this guy Lanny Poffo years ago. He said, "I'll be myself or I'll be by myself."
Oh,
and
I like it.
I repeat that sometimes when
That's
I think
good.
about how like cutthroat entertainment is, or something like that. So I just want to forge a path where someone else can go, hey, that's kind of who I want to be like.
Right. No, I like that. That's cool.
Like, I've been saying it on here a lot, but I'm saying, like, I'm not a religion guy, but if I am the religion of anything, I'm the religion of role models. Being something that other people want to see what you do and sort of be inspired by it.
Right.
So, instead of taking the same path that somebody else took, that, you know, you're not going to measure up to exactly what their path is. Your path is your own. Like, when I was a kid, I remember thinking, like, why can I only see that? I can't see myself all the time unless I look in the mirror. And I started thinking about, like, how the view through my eyes was like like this reality. Like, I thought the plot of that South Park episode, before that show was even an idea that was ever on TV. I was like, oh, we're like some reality show wasn't even a thing when I was 6 or 7 years old, but like the awareness that like this is all a TV show, and then it's like, who do I cast in my TV show? And like that idea went away for a long time, and now it's come back that I'm a grown up, and I'm like, well, you know, who are the type of people that I want to cast in my TV show? Who are the type of people that are not going to take things from me that I can't get back? And not things, because things aren't the things that I'm talking about, but like, you know, like energy. You know, energy is everything is energy. So I mean, I feel like if somebody's just gonna, you know, feed me stuff that I can't, you know what I mean, that I can't come back from or something, it's like give me some good energy, or, you know, give off other people good energy instead. Like, I did a thing, and see if you can do it for yourself. I started saying, like, name the top 5 people in your life. Now, how many of those people want stuff from you?
Oh, yeah.
How many of those people are in your life because you can do something for them?
I don't think, not in my top 5.
Right, yeah.
So that's pretty good.
So you're nailing it, dude.
All right.
You're nailing it.
Hey, but I hear what you're saying about being yourself, being the true you, like finding your voice. It's the hard. I've been doing comedy almost 12 years, so that's a lot of stand-up comedy. But I still sometimes go, who the hell am I? What's my voice? And it's right there in front of me, but I still can't pinpoint it, and it's so goddamn frustrating. I'm always jealous of people who know exactly who they are on stage, or their persona, or whatever the hell it is. But it's so hard to find it.
Oh man, I'm like that. I feel that exact same way. How old are you?
34.
Same.
Oh, nice.
So I feel it a lot of ways where I'll be like man, I never found my voice in comedy. Like, I'm a silly goose, and sometimes, like, when I would go to do stand-up, I would, like, try to act like I'm just doing jokes that are sort of offensive because they're gonna get laughs or whatever. But that's not my voice, and that's why I kind of, like, kept taking breaks from comedy and like not going back to it. And then, like, I started doing this podcast, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna do comedy again. And then I did it, but I had done all jokes that weren't my voice. I did a whole bunch, like, all my old jokes that I just, like, pulled back out to try again. And people kind of hated me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, they kind of turned.
Hated you?
Like, I bombed, for sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
like,
that's normal.
I bombed, like, the last 2 times I've done stand-up.
But how many times have you done it?
Recently? 2.
All right, well, there you go. I mean, you're supposed to bomb. And I can tell these young comics hitting me up, I'm having some trouble with comedy. I'm hitting a wall. I don't know what to do, and having a lot of letdowns. I'm like, you're supposed to. You're a year in. You're supposed to bomb. It's supposed to be hard. What do you think? It's just you're gonna get offered a Netflix special on your 3rd try? No, get out there. You're supposed to struggle. It's supposed to be frustrating.
Yeah,
you're learning something. You wouldn't do that with a piano. I keep hitting the wrong keys. Can we get coffee and talk about it? No, go hit more keys. Try it again. It's infuriating, because it also belittles comedy as an art form. Like, I don't know why, it's just not working for me. Well, maybe you suck. Maybe you're not funny. Get better.
Like, there's processes that you can go through instead of just, like, asking somebody how they did it because
Yes.
their way up the mountain is going to be a way different
Of course.
path than yours is.
Yeah, and getting it's always, let's get coffee and discuss it. Well, what the fuck, what am I going to tell you? I'm going to get coffee with you, I'm going to waste my time, go find you, meet you, sit down, do the bullshit, how you doing, cold out, huh? And then I'm going to go, get on stage more, write more. And they're going to go, but what else? That's it! That's it! The waste of coffee date.
Like, man, if you were a bald Jew from New York City, we could really make some magic happen.
I wish, yeah, that's my guy right there. Give me a big, baldy Hebrew.
How often does that happen to you?
The coffee thing?
Yeah.
All the time. All these young comics, which is a very entitled move. When I moved to New York, I would never be like, hey, Hannibal Buress, or John Mulaney, established comedian who's ahead of me in the game. What any tricks, any tips? I would never think to do that. I wouldn't bother them.
Yeah.
But people do it to me all the time.
Well, what used to be against the rules is now commonplace.
I think it is because we're kind of in a boom right now,
Yeah.
comedically. And I think so there's like a zillion people just like, oh, I'll either be a bartender or a comedian, or I'll be an attorney or a comedian. So like it's just another choice now because you can make it so easily. And I think you get this boom going, and all these people jump in and they go, "Why isn't it working for me?" You know, they have more of a business mind where they're like, "I've been doing it 2 years. I should be at this level by now." But that's not how it works. You can do it 40 years and get nowhere. You can go 2 years and blow up. It's all different.
Are you watching Crashing right now?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
When the Whitney Cummings was on the episode, one of the last ones, and she was like, "Some people just got it."
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, "Or eventually you develop it," and she's like, "No."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just got it. Like,
Exactly.
But that's what I think some people go like, "Oh, when you got it, you just get it, and there
Yeah.
it goes." And put that on a shirt. But it's not like that. You kind of have to like hone something.
Mm-hmm.
You got to. This is the sort of thing you just said was like you polish something up, almost like accentuate the positives and hide the negatives.
Right.
That's kind of what a bald Jew from New York City, Paul Heyman, who ran ECW, did with
really?
that company. It was like ECW became like the cult of the pro wrestling scene in the 90s. Like that was where hardcore wrestling kind of started. Where like when you see any kind of like blood or you see any kind of weapon, it's because it sort of happened in ECW first.
Well, there you go. I love that. I love a person just starts something out of nowhere and it blows up like that. Like New York hip hop was that way, and like stand-up comedy was that way. It just kind of started in a coffee shop and it just blew up into this thing it is today. Wasn't even around. It's an American art form. Jazz, stand-up, hip hop. The other thing.
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling. There you go. That's all American, right?
Well, I mean,
wrestling was like Greek, I think, but like pro wrestling, where you
everything
hitting people with chairs.
Up being its own thing. Like there was like that catch as can wrestling, and there's like the puroresu, which is like Japanese pro wrestling. So it's like there's like different parts of the world that call it a different thing, and it's sort of a little bit different. Like Mexico, lucha libre, where they wear the masks and do all the like the acrobatic sort of moves with sort of like less of a story.
Yeah,
like in WWF, they'll be like, "Screw you! You had sex with my sister." Blah blah. Like,
oh yeah, that's fun.
They didn't do that. They don't do that in Mexico. They don't.
Right.
You know
they don't fuck around with the jokes, and not jokes, but like the storyline.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody do the storyline. Screw you! You had sex with my sister. I just kind of ripped on that one.
It's not bad. I mean, in boxing, Roberto Duran called. I think it was Sugar Ray Robinson. He called his wife a whore or something just to like get him angry. Like, come on, let's go. And he ended up beating him, which was interesting because nobody beat Sugar Ray.
No one calls Sugar Ray's wife a whore.
No.
But
and
if
then
you
wins.
do, then you beat him.
Right. I
You
guess
just
so.
had the cheat code.
Yeah.
The
He knew
cheat
the
code.
weakness. But yeah.
Achilles heel. The Achilles whore.
Aha. Achilles whore. That's a great bar.
That does sound like a bar.
Yeah. Achilles whore.
It goes back to Greek and wrestling being Greek.
Yeah.
There you go. They all cyclical motions here. So, were you were you raised any kind of like? I know that there's Louisiana is like parishes and stuff.
Yes.
So,
and wards.
did you have any kind of like? Were you in a church? Were you in a parish? Did you like attend Catholic church? Is that because every time I hear parish, I just think Catholicism.
I know parish is like we call it county
Okay.
for some reason, like New Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish, all that. But I grew up. My parents are both atheists, liberal, open-minded, like intellectual types. They were both lawyers, and now they do shit. They read books. They're always their heads in a book with a glass of wine all day long. And it was annoying as a kid because you wanted attention. It was just like, hey, I'm reading. So
Only child?
older brother, and so just constantly head in a book, the whole thing, and never went to church. The only time I went to church was when I would sleep at a friend's house on Saturday night, and on Sunday morning, his parents would make me go to church just because they didn't want to leave me at the house alone. And it was
equally boring as staying home alone.
no, staying home was great because I got to like go through their drawers and like watch TV and put my feet up and look through their pantry. But going to church was so foreign to me as a kid. Also, I was in Cub Scouts. And that was like very churchy, like a lot of reverent shit where you have to do like masses and stuff. But it was weird going to church. It was like forever and ever. Everybody's dressed up. The communion, the wafer, the holy water. That was all new to me.
Different snacks than if you would have stayed home.
Totally. The home snacks are way better. But I remember one time I walked up, my friend just like, I was in line in the row of pews, and he did the communion thing where you have to go up and do that.
Yeah.
And I walked up, and I didn't know what to do. I just followed the other kids, and I walked up, and the guy gave me a wafer, and I went, thanks. And he started laughing. Because you're supposed to say, like, amen, or my father, or blow me, or whatever it is. And so I never knew why I got a laugh on that, but I told my dad later, and he thought it was hilarious. But then I went to Catholic.
That's when you decided to start comedy.
That was it.
When that priest laughed.
Yeah. Making a priest laugh. That's good comedy. So then I went to Catholic school because I went to public school my whole life. And it started getting kind of rough in the 90s. I grew up in the inner city. It was getting a little dicey. So my dad's like, you're on a Catholic school. You're going to get a good education. You're going to get some real discipline, you piece of garbage.
How old were you at that point?
13, 14, freshman year.
Didn't they, like, have a strictness on, like, sacraments? Like, if you hadn't had your first Holy Communion and your confirmation and stuff?
Nah, I mean, they're private school looking for money, I think.
Okay.
I had to do like a little test, like a little interview, and they were like, whatever, come on in. And it was crazy. We had chapel, we had assembly, we had religion class, so like I had to like learn it all right there. And it was weird, but there was some Jews at the school too, and I remember bonding with them because they had a whole different thing, as did I.
Well, historically, Jews are funnier.
Well, they're funny, but I mean religion-wise. Like,
Yeah.
I'm learning about Catholicism for the first time, and so are they. So we kind of bonded. We were the outcasts. Also the curly hair and the comedy. So that meshed well. But, not religion. Once I got out of Catholic school, that was it. I have a lot of material about how silly religion is and all that. So
I went to Catholic school, but, like, we went to, like, a Jewish day camp. I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about it this morning when I woke up, that, like, I just started remembering, somebody in the break room at my job gave me a matzah the other day. And he handed it to me and was like, he put the box towards me and he's like, you want one? And I was like, okay. And he's like, have you ever had one? And I was like, yeah, I went to Jewish camp. And then I started thinking about the songs that we used to sing. And like that was the first time I ever got on stage and did anything. I had to stand up. Like I still have it. I had a puppet that was Animal from the Muppets, and I was telling jokes with the puppet.
Yeah.
I was Jeff Dunham back in the
day.
Yeah. And that was before Jeff Dunham was famous, I think.
He's a zillionaire now.
Right. But that kind of got me my start in, like, bombing. That was my first time I bombed. I was like 6. So
so you've been bombing ever since.
I've been bombing since I was 6.
Years and years of bombing.
The songs it's so funny how like I was saying the thing about the other thing that I remember from when I was a little kid that now just came back to me. Now this stuff is coming back to me, and when you get like mature enough to gain a retrospect, I started thinking about like the songs, and it got stuck in my head. The comedy sketches that they would do.
Jews are funny.
Yeah, it was a lot of good times.
Yeah, and for the record, I don't want to make it sound like I'm like sacrilegious I think religion's good. I think it's helped a lot of people. I think people who are religious tend to be nicer and more in line. I just don't believe in it.
Right.
I think it's good, and it's a good sentiment, but I'm not into it.
I think deep down, people who are religious need that.
Yeah.
They need that, and I don't want to take away what they need.
No, totally.
So
Go nuts.
just take all that and
Sure.
let that be who you are, because that's like a road sign that keeps that keeps you sort of on the path you should be on.
And if you need that sign and that sign makes you better, great. Right. More power, anal. But not for me, because I'll just be a good person to be a good person. I'm more into shame. I think shame is a good religion. Like, oh, I feel like an asshole if I'm mean to this guy. Mm-hmm. That's shame. That keeps me in line. You know these guys who say, like, I don't murder because it's a commandment. Like, that's why you don't murder?
Right.
That's the reason? That's so stupid.
Because it's fucking wrong?
Yeah, it's wrong. And that's so obvious. People go, how will you know it's wrong if it's not in the Bible? Because I'm a fucking human being. I can sense it out, you idiot. Like, come on. Common sense here, folks.
I had a point there. I was just going to mention the shame thing, and you brought that up, and I went back to the point of, like, I always wanted to, like, write a book about my life and all the things that I always thought were interesting, but then I feel like I can't be forgiven as easy if it's on paper there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In like an audio form. That's when I turned, like, I was like, oh, maybe the audio is the new literary, the new literature, and people can hear what I say, and if I said something last week that was maybe a piece of shit thing, I can sort of apologize for it now. But if I publish a book and it's been now 10 years and I said a thing that I don't now agree with, it's harder for me to take that back.
Oh, sure.
Like, so with a lot of vibrations and energy that's going through the world right now, it's like I don't want to sort of be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy who gets offended by something somebody wrote, and that somebody's me 10 years ago.
Yeah, I get it. But hey, if they're religious, they have to forgive you.
Right, yeah.
They're forgiving, supposedly.
Go into everything forgiving right from the start.
Yeah, I mean, what other group could have so many pedophiles and still be running?
Yeah.
That's a lot of forgiving.
Well, my friend Noah, he did a joke.
I thought you were going to say he got molested.
No, he did a joke where he said, like, you're already forgiven. You just say he died for your sins, and then you're forgiven. He's like, so why do you stop sinning? I mean, if somebody says, hey, I got your bar tab, do you stop drinking? No,
right.
You just keep on going.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I like it.
He had a lot of funny stand up about religion. So every time I came up with, like, religious jokes, I'd, like, throw them.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, see if you can unpack this a little bit and make it something better.
Yeah, well, religion has so many holes in it that it's easy to poke fun at.
Yeah.
Because it's so silly. You go to heaven, it's all your families in heaven, you see all your dead family, but heaven's supposed to be a perfect place, but what if you hate your family? So how is it perfect if you hate them? There's all a million things you could get
it's
into.
Weird because, like, your lifetime is from here to here, but then eternity is an infinite amount of here to heres. So, like, that's such a long time compared to this long time. This long time in paradise. It's like, man, I went on a 13-day cruise, and I was bored.
Of course.
I eventually got really bored of it.
Yes.
Like, there's so many more people who are, like, there's way more dead people than there are alive people who have ever lived.
Of course.
So it's like, it's just like, is it crowded there? Like, there was a billboard. I actually wrote a thing about this, but I never did it on stage. There was a billboard that said, when you die, you meet God. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's a pretty arrogant thought.
Of course.
So many other people are dying at that very moment. If anything, it's like a book signing, a meet and greet. You got to get in line. Like, he signs your Bible, and then you go.
But that's zillions of people.
Right.
And then what about, like, if you're atheist or if you're Muslim or you don't have the same God. Mm-hmm. So are they meeting him as well, or are we just so narcissistic that we go, well, my God is the God? How does that work?
You gotta take that back. The and I use that with a lot of things. Like I say, like, oh yeah, that's a way. That's maybe not the way. And I wound up, like, changing a lot of the things I think about all the time, like things that maybe I was so set in, and that's the way it is, and no, that's a way it is, not the way it is. So,
did you fart or was that me?
That was you.
I guess it was me. All right, continue.
I had these brownies on the train, but they didn't make me fart yet.
Edibles?
No. Are you into edibles?
I'm such a lightweight with weed, and I have so many mental things that like it amps up all the bad stuff when I get high. Like all the anxiety goes up, the self-loathing goes up, the self-hatred, the insecurity, all that goes way up with weed. So I try not to dabble unless I'm like shit-faced already. But I don't do the edibles because I feel like it's too high and I can't get out of it.
Well, what about like mushrooms?
Mushrooms I love. Yeah. That's my favorite drug.
Yeah. How often?
I probably do them 4 times a year, something like that. I don't want to blow my load, but yeah, I do. I do them quite a bit.
Well, I feel like edibles. Like I've only done it once. But I feel like it's exactly like hallucinogenic. Like I'll trip off of.
Oh, not me.
Like that gets me to a place where I'm sort of like I remember. Like I was a couple months ago, like I did edibles and I went into the bathroom to piss and I was like, what? It was like I was watching a loop of like everything, like loop of energy coming up from like my arm down and to watch my piss come out.
Wow!
And I was like, what a weird, like no one pisses this way.
I've never had that in my life. That sounds pretty cool, but. See, I think you're like a relaxed guy. You seem kind of content in life, and you seem just kind of happy-go-lucky. I'm sitting there going, like, I'm peeing. I'm like, what are they thinking in the other room? Am I peeing too long? Is this weird? Why am I on drugs? What am I doing with my life? My parents, they hate me. That's my head.
Shame. Like
it's all just worry, shame. What's he thinking? What's he thinking about me? Am I a piece of shit? Am I bad? I can't enjoy the energy dick swirl. I'm too in my own head.
It's so weird, man. Like I keep having this conversation about like what other people think of me is none of my business, and I keep thinking about that very often because so often I like get wrapped up in like my body dysmorphia, and then like my other, like once it piles on, it just continues to pile on until I just go like, well, I gotta be something better than that, so that somebody else can understand. Like somebody else can maybe see that and go, oh well, he's sort of what I'd like to be, sort of like that. Instead of me verbalizing how shitty I feel about myself or whatever. Like I had a big like beard yesterday, and I shaved it off. I shaved it down, and I walked into my neighbor's house to borrow the sound equipment that failed on me, and he's like, "Oh, you shaved? Oh, you need to shave that gut now. Like shave that gut down now."
Yeah,
and I was like,
that sounds like a great guy.
I was like, "Oh man, I was hovering at around normal,
right?"
And now I'm gonna have shame about that all day.
Oh, what a douche!
But I mean, I forgive. That's what he is. He deserves. Like I don't.
Well, you got to be nice. You're getting the sound equipment,
but you know what I mean. Like I love to be a resource for him in his ways. But in my top 5, he's not he doesn't want anything from me. You know what I mean? Like not that like I have anything to offer. But let's say it's a creative thing, and then ball busting is part of it. Just the same way ball busting is part of comedy. It's just part of it. It just comes with the zeitgeist of what it is.
I agree. And that's not bad. But you're not a big guy. You look. Your arms are crazy jacked. You look great. Thanks. If I was a lady, I'd be sitting on that face.
It was like something you were like when you walked in. You were like, "Man, how come you waited till you were that old to have sex for the first time?"
Yeah, you lost your virginity at 18, 19?
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, that's pretty long. I'm surprised. A buff guy with a ponytail and nice eyeballs and a hell of a voice you got on you.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm so jealous of other people's voices. I never even take a second to think that mine's nice at all. Like
it's very soothing.
It still sounds to me like an old person's when an old person calls a young kid and the young kid's like, hello, and they're like,
no.
Is your mom there?
No, yeah, you sound like a scary puppet.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
I'm gonna send in some voiceover work.
Please, yes.
Audition, scary puppet.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a huge thing. I always wanted to do. I thought my dreams and my goals as a kid is like what I wanted to do. Number 1 was comedian. Number 2 was voice cartoons. Mm-hmm. And number 3 was be a pro wrestler.
Wow, well, you got one of them.
Yeah.
He's a pro wrestler, folks, if you don't know by now.
I mean, sort of. I mean, it's not something I've ever made a living off of.
Oh, I thought you were pro.
No, I mean, it's called professional wrestling. It's not that I'm a pro wrestler, like, who wrestles for a living. I don't go on tour.
Right. Can I say this about pro wrestling? The only sport where the professional version of it is more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Like, oh, that stuff's called the amateur.
Yeah.
But it's also embarrassing. That's why I never did it. Like, I didn't want to be a little boy in, like, these tights.
Yeah.
Like, with, like, adults cheering me on with this stupid thing on my head.
I know, but at least it's real.
But
And it takes skill and athleticism.
So does pro wrestling.
That's true. It's an art form. But it's still more. It's a play as well.
You're telling stories. Like, I got introduced on stage by a comic, and he's like, "Oh, this next guy's a pro wrestler." That's like, he said that it's aggressive blocking.
Yeah, like acting blocking.
Yeah, and I was like, I guess. Like,
yeah,
I get it, but it
is an art. I don't want to take that away from you, but it is weird when a guy's like, you stole my wallet, and he jumps off of the top rope and does a fake elbow, and the guy holds his eye like, and then you slam the ground to show that there was a hit,
I think people's perception of pro wrestling is way more embarrassing than wrestling.
I guess so. Well, then you get hit by a chair, and anytime somebody's getting hit by a chair, it's kind of like, what's going on here?
I think that like, I heard you on Pete Holmes' podcast, and you guys were talking about the don't steal jokes, and the rules and the cult of it. Like, the sort of cult in pro wrestling is like, and this goes way back, and I don't even think it's spoken about. Mm-hmm. It's like, get offended by people saying fake. Get offended by people implying that it's not real. Mm-hmm. Because the moment they do that, it's saying, like, this is something I've loved my entire life, and I've committed my life to it, and you're saying it's fake, so then you're saying I'm fake.
No, I don't think you're fake.
No, I'm not saying that that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that could be, like, just the quick, broad brush.
Right.
That strokes over the... it's not all... box that fits into this, you know what I mean? It's not like all fits into this one category. Mm. There's layers to it.
Well, the problem is like, acting is fake, obviously. Yeah, exactly. You go to a play, that's fake, but nobody calls acting fake. Mm. But we call reality shows fake.
Right,
because
but everyone watches them.
But everyone watches them, but those are fake as much as acting, but we call them fake because they have this guise of being real. It's called reality, and I think wrestling is under the guise of, it's real, it's these guys are getting hurt, these are whatever, and so that's why everybody calls it fake.
Right, yeah. Well,
but everything's fake.
The predetermined, but the structured reality.
Yeah, structured reality. Like, stand-up comedy is fake. I didn't really go to the store today, like I'm saying in my joke.
You held the door open for this woman today.
Yeah.
This happened 9 years ago.
Of course. It's a worked-out bit. I had to try it over months. And, yeah, so it's all fake, but I think it's the fact that we pretend it's somewhat real.
Yeah.
And that's what throws people.
Yeah, like, every time I've ever got off stage, people are like, was that a real story?
Right.
You prefaced it that it was a real story. And I'm like, well, if I said it was a real story, then it was real.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Sean Patton.
Most of the other things I said, I didn't preface it with it's a real story.
Yeah.
So it's probably some structured version of
it. Right. Well, the base of the story is real, and I added fun jokes in it. Right. So the foundation is real, but there's all kinds of shit peppered in to make it more entertaining.
What did he say? Mitch Hedberg did a thing on his album. He's like, we gotta sweeten these up, which is comedy language for add sugar to.
Oh, add sugar to. Yeah, right. That's funny. He was a funny guy. Whatever happened to him?
Oh man, he must have joined a cult or something.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully he's doing comedy somewhere.
Yeah. Like, I did this interview, like in the same thing where I had that interview with Lenny Poffo, where he said the thing about I'll be myself or I'll be by myself. I did another interview with this guy, Tugboat. He used to wrestle in the WWE.
I've heard of Tugboat.
So
that's my favorite gay porn star.
he did he had like these really wise things, and he wound up. What was the point I was making there?
Tugboat.
Well,
Come on.
Kind of lost it.
That's that brownie kicking in.
He had some really cool points, and I'll get back to it if I remember.
All right, we'll edit this in post.
But a lot of it was like the lessons of like you're gonna learn. And this is the thing I said, even like when you were talking about the advice that people always ask you.
Mm-hmm.
For people will go, hey, let's get coffee, and you tell me the cheat code
right.
to being a Mark Normand level comic. I want to do exactly what you do on the level you do it. Mm-hmm. So that's like, oh, I want to be competition to you. I want to take food off your table, sort of thing.
Well, I don't see it like that.
But I mean,
it does minimize what you're doing. Like, just tell me how to do it so I can do it. Right. One day you have to learn it.
Right.
It's like saying, oh, tell me how to, like run a 4-minute mile. I can't just tell you how to run it. You got to go work your legs out and exercise and blah blah train.
Right. It's it's like college. It's like going to college. You got to learn a thing.
Yeah.
You just aren't a doctor.
Right.
You have to go to school and learn how to be a doctor.
Yeah. But it's hard to study. I can't memorize. Well, I keep doing it.
And I did. I make this comparison all the time. I say like. I started with like that. The best teacher is experience. With anything, not just comedy, not just pro wrestling, not just I say like when you play Super Mario, the first Super Mario, as you're going along, like if you're playing for the first time on the first board, that first guy kills you, and then you get another shot, and you get the fuck out of the way of that guy.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like you.
That's life.
You screw up, so you learn something.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Batman. Why do we fall down?
There you go.
So we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
But in real life, you only get one shot at life. In Mario, you have another. You go one up or whatever.
Yeah, you need to have those mushrooms.
Yeah.
It goes back to the mushrooms.
Love shrooms. But yeah, by the way, somebody had a good point about how Mario, it's called Super Mario Brothers, but his name is Mario.
Right.
So it's not...
Is his name Mario?
Exactly, yeah. It's a very strange... No one caught that till 20 years later.
Maybe somebody screamed out in the focus group, and they're like, shut up!
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Shut up, Luigi, we'll put you in.
Yeah, why didn't...
So he's Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Luigi Mario. We do you remember the TV show that was like
yes,
Captain Lou Albano was
Mario
was the real life Mario,
yes,
the live action, not real life because he wasn't really Mario.
Was he a wrestler?
He was a wrestler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was a wrestling manager.
Oh, cool!
Back in the day,
that's awesome.
He used to have like fishing hooks through his face and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He did like the whole stuff where like Cyndi Lauper and Hulkamania, like that all started the boom of pro wrestling in the 80s.
I did not know that.
And me and my best friend Rich were on a show where Captain Lou was supposed to be there, and we're like, let's get him to do the Mario dance. Do the Mario! And have him do the thing. He like showed up while our match was happening. So everyone stopped and like paid attention to him walking in, and we were like, okay, we'll just stop doing that. Like, everybody say hey to Mario.
Yeah.
But he's since passed.
Well, he had a good run. He'll be missed.
He didn't do enough mushrooms.
No, he needs another one up. I wonder if he ever got laid as being Mario. I wonder if there was a girl like, oh, that Mario thing is so hot. Because, he's still on TV.
Like, well, I mean, that would be someone's fantasy to be Princess Peach. Or
yes,
like,
yes.
Because, like, a lot of times you'll notice, like TV shows and movies, like, these guys get these out-of-their-league girls all the time. And then people can relate, and people go, oh, well, if he can get that, then I can get that. Like, every, like, Kevin James show is like him with some
that's true, yeah,
out of this world girl.
Yeah,
like any Adam Sandler movie. He's
Right.
got some like way hotter
Totally.
girl than he could have got. If this is a believable character, who's this way?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the believability. We suspend disbelief
Yes.
for the fact that like he could never get that girl.
Yeah. That's just kind of the American way. The husband's old and fat, and the wife is young and thin on TV.
My old tag team partner used to he used to date this girl who was like an extra in Selena.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow, well, quit bragging, huh?
quit bragging.
Quite a resume notch on the belt.
But she like modeled clothes on a runway and like came out and like winked at a guy and then like walked out. That was like all she did in the movie. I never saw that part of the movie.
I'm sure they cut it out.
But he says that he used to watch that movie when he was a kid, and he'd be like, "That girl will never wink at that guy. That girl would never wink at that guy." And then he like started dating her, and he didn't know
What?
he didn't know that she was the
That's
girl.
insane.
He didn't know that she was the girl that did that scene.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh man, I used to always watch that scene and go, that girl would never wink at that guy." And she's like, "I didn't wink at that guy. I winked." They cut it together.
They cut it, yeah.
The world is Hollywood.
Yeah, baby. Nothing's real. It's all fake. That's the lesson here. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Well, in wrestling backstage, we call it all a work. We say it's a work. So I say it's a work about everything.
It's a work.
Like football is a work. Basketball is a work. I think everything's a work, and the only thing that's not getting away with it being a work is pro wrestling. The only one that will admit it.
You think other sports are rigged?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, totally.
You think so?
I totally think so.
Interesting.
I've never been like a real big sports guy, but I mean, what did you notice? Like how crazy it is here in Philadelphia now that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And
what do you mean crazy?
like I don't know, like it's like we deserved it, and that's another thing. Like it kind of bothers me about sports, and maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe I need to get over my shit. Maybe I'm full of shit or whatever. But when like people go, "Oh, our team, like we were running behind and we didn't," like no, you were watching it at home. You didn't do anything.
I have a joke about that. That's funny you say that.
Oh, yeah.
The whole we thing.
Right.
We won the Super. No, we ate nachos and got the runs.
Right.
You know, they always do we with the good shit. It's never the bad. It's never like we went to spring training, we got a concussion, we're in jail for hitting a stripper. Why don't they we that part? It's only the good.
We too.
Yeah. Hashtag we too. And your girlfriend comes in, we need to talk. No, I need to get yelled at. Let's be honest. I can't do that to her.
We're gonna have a team meeting, y'all.
Yeah. She comes home, I'm banging a girl, I'm like, hey, we're getting laid.
I do have that with my girlfriend now. It's like when she enjoys something, I feel that's us enjoying something. If like I'm in the other room and I hear her laughing, I feel like that's us laughing. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
nice.
I
yeah.
love her joy,
I feel that completely. Yeah.
and I feel that way about like my circle. You know what I mean? Like anybody around me, I see them doing well. Like it's a thing in pro wrestling, the same as it is in comedy, where like, oh, this person got that, this person got that. Oh, why did they didn't deserve that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not good enough. They're
There's
not
a lot
funny
of
enough.
that.
And it's like I don't want to be jealous of anybody. I just want to be like the people who are, you know, genuine. And, and you know, sort of like making a difference and not advertising themselves as one thing and then actually being something else.
Mm-hmm.
Did you going back to Seinfeld, because you said you like met him and it was a weird situation.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Netflix documentary that was on there?
About him starting out
The
again?
comedian.
Oh yeah,
No,
that's old.
It was the old one, not the one of him coming back.
Oh, there's another one?
No, I'm sorry. That is the one. That was
Yeah.
like 2002.
They just put it on Netflix,
Right,
but it's old.
They just put it on.
I've seen it. I own it. I have the DVD. I've seen it a million times.
I feel like I'm talking about that all the time. Like
That's so good.
Like with like normal everyday. Like not that I'm not talking about it on the podcast very often, but I'm talking about like I keep bringing it up. Like when he was like telling that story to Orny about like the band that like.
Oh yeah, the
something.
snow, the Andy
And
Warhol painting and all that. Yeah,
and he was like, "Can you imagine being them?"
yeah.
And that's just
How do people live like this?
yeah.
That's such a great story.
And it's the comparisons, and I like there's a comedian John Kinsel in Philadelphia. He's he's always at Helium, but he does a podcast. And I did his podcast, and he was like, I like to read the books written by the wrestlers, and I feel like every time you read those books, you can take out pro wrestling and put in comedy in there.
I've heard the same thing. Yeah.
I agree. Every time I read those books, I feel the same way. And every time I've gone and done comedy, it's the same. The instant gratification from the reactions. Like, I love that in the ring. That's the thing I'm addicted to. And I love it I love it on stage. But like, I don't have to get punched. I don't have to get punched.
Right.
I don't have to get.
Your ego gets punched. You get a little humiliation punch.
I get to keep all my clothes on.
And your teeth.
And I get to keep my teeth. Nobody punches me.
Right.
Nobody boos me unless I want them to boo me.
That's what I always think about with sports. You know, you always hear, Tom Brady is 40 and he's still playing this well. It's like, I want to be doing comedy until I'm 88. And with sports, it's all a physical thing. So your body breaks down and you get hurt, and you get injured, and you're weaker. Yeah. Stand-up comedy, your brain... until you go senile, can keep getting sharper. And you don't have to, you can just stand there. And that's what's so cool about it. I don't have to if you love football more than anything, you're just kind of screwed at 50.
Right, yeah.
What a bummer. You just have to give up your favorite thing on the planet because you're 50.
It's funny, the muscles that you train, like your brain is the muscle you train to do that sport, you know?
Yeah.
It becomes stronger, just like your body becomes stronger as you work it out. The creative energy is the same. You know what I mean? And this is something like I'm kind of facing this now. Like I've been in the wrestling game since 2002, and my creative juices are getting filled up by other pitchers now. You know what I mean? Like the glass that needs the creative juice in it is filled up by, the podcasting. Like I do this and my other podcast, and it's like those are kind of telling me, like, if I take one more hit to the head and then I all of a sudden can't talk anymore or something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's scary.
It's like, oh, well, maybe it's time to sort of think about getting out. Like,
yeah, maybe.
I think I might have said it for the first time on Friday.
Ooh.
This past Friday.
But do you love it?
I do. I love it so much. It's like my first love.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the third. Yeah. Stand-up comedy. Yeah. What was the second one?
Voiceover. Cartoon voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that you can do forever.
That was I thought that was because what movie was like Robin Williams in where he was
Mrs. Doubtfire,
where he was a cartoon voiceover.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I want to do that. Watching Mrs. Doubtfire, and that was. Since I didn't put all this together, the fact that we're like the exact same age, so you
look much younger, by the way. You got a fresh face.
Well, I just shaved my face.
I'm also hungover.
Oh yeah, I'm a tad hungover.
All right.
I don't drink wine, but I had wine last night. But then I followed that wine with like 4 or 5 Miller Lights.
Yes, the white trash dinner. Wine and Miller Lite.
The breakfast of champion white trash.
Yes, there you go.
But, like, is that like a perk of like being on the road? Like, what is the consequence? You know what I mean? Like, consequence, of course, is being hungover. But I mean, like, it's like, is it like you're escaping what is it kind of like, the shame you feel. Like, when you're high, you get that shame, but that's, like, you sometimes can escape that. And just be in that high.
Yes.
But, like, when you're in your everyday life.
Yeah, it's tough. You can't escape it.
And then you come out on the road, and it's like, oh, I'm the guy on the show. My name's on the marquee. These people paid to see me. Mm-hmm. I'm, like, do you get caught up in that, like, or do you remove your ego from it?
Oh, I don't get caught up in that at all. I mean, in the beginning, it was like, oh, cool, I'm the headliner, this is my show. But now I've been doing it so many years, and I'm in a different city every weekend.
Yeah.
So it's kind of blurs together. But I think the drinking comes in because it's just I'm weak. I'll do the shows. you get wrapped up in it. You have a good set, and you got that high going. So you got to have a drink to like calm it down. And then you're like, I don't want to just go back to my hotel and sit there and watch infomercials. What the hell? I'm going to just jerk off all night because I won't fall asleep till 4.
Right.
So I'll have another drink. What are you doing? Are you going out? I'll see the city. All right, have another night. Now you're blacking out at 2 in the morning, and then you wake up in the hotel room at noon. You lost the whole day. So it's just because I don't want to sit there with my own thoughts, really.
Right, yeah.
It's all weakness. But I could, if I was a stronger person, I could just go back to my room, maybe work on the act, call a friend, do some emails, do some work, or just watch TV, take a load up. But now I gotta shut the brain off.
Going back to that, like the parallels, the pro wrestling and comedy. Like I feel this way. Wild West Comedy, that documentary.
I didn't see it.
You never Vince Vaughn, Sebastian Maniscalco, John Caparulo, and they who else was in it? Gary Goldman was in it.
Oh, Goldman.
Yeah.
He's one of my faves.
Yeah.
So
it's a good documentary, dude. You should check it out.
I will. Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix, no.
All right, I'll find it.
But Justin Long is in it.
Oh, weird.
They do. There's parts where I go, oh my God, that's my life. Like Sebastian was like a server at an Olive Garden. And he's like naming lights on the weekend and then back on the name tag.
Yes.
I'm like, that's my life.
I've done the same thing. I used to be a janitor. Same thing.
Yeah, and during one of John Caparulo's bits, he did like he was like, anybody here ever work at Burger King? And somebody in the back, fuck yeah! And then he was like, you doing all right, buddy? And then he gets in the back, and he's like, can you believe that asshole? He screamed out, fuck you, when I was saying, anybody work at Burger King? And he's like, no, the guy said, fuck yeah. And he's like, oh my God, I acted like a total asshole.
Oh,
like,
no.
I've been there. I've been to that same place.
Yeah.
We are that exact thing. Like, that's something that, like, you're, as much as, and the same thing is, like, in stand-up, when you're bombing, you're not in a movie that does bad. You're you. You're fully you.
In real time.
Did you see the Jamie Kennedy documentary?
Heckler?
Yeah. This is kind of the same thing. He's like, you're not booing. You're not booing something I was in. You're booing me.
Me, my person, my being.
Yeah, that's like. It's hard for like somebody who's
tough.
trying to remove ego.
Sure.
And then your ego's wrapped up in these reactions.
Yeah.
Because there's always a troll, like somebody who wants to piss you off.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh man, did you see that guy? He wasn't even good. Because people want to take it back from you.
They do. People are evil, and you have to have this balance in your ego of like, okay, I cannot listen to this guy and just shut him out and just keep doing what I'm doing. But you also have to be like, well, maybe if this is happening a lot, I should internalize some of this. So you have to kind of have a give and take. You can't just be one of these guys like, fuck him, he's an asshole. Well, but he could be right. So you have to keep that in your mind. But also, back to the wrestling thing, the parallels are so similar because stand-up is so gritty. It's just you and a crowd with a microphone. And wrestling's the same way, where it's just you versus this guy in front of a crowd. And you have to start from nowhere. No one knows who you are. You want to just be a wrestler. You got to just go find a match, and it's in like a fucking barn in Michigan or something. And then you have to have a persona. You have to have a name. You have to make a name for yourself and just keep working your way up. And you have to win a match or look good in a match or be a heel, and a comic has to kill. And it's so similar. It's crazy how they go together, and they're very. You have to have a big ego and no ego at the same time. Because you have to go, hey, I'm a wrestler. I can get in there. I'm entertaining. I'm captivating. But also, I'm willing to take a wrench to the teeth.
Yeah, it's show business.
It's showbiz. It's the same with comedy. Comedy's like, hey, I'm funny enough to get up there, but I also have to be humble enough to take a beating. Same thing.
Yeah. It's it's tough to sometimes like remove ego from it. Because like you're like my mom had me watch like a Wayne Dwyer speech or something. You know, Wayne Dwyer is like this like old inspirational motivational speaker or
like
whatever,
a Tony Robbins
sort of thing. Yeah, he sort of like that. And he said he talked about ego as edging God out. And that's the way he broke down ego. And I was like,
edging God out.
You're edging, like you're going, oh, I'm better than God.
Whoa, man, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have God in me at all, so
Right.
I don't. He's already been edged out.
But like, it's just like a, people like maybe that's where the origin of holier than thou comes from. I said maybe because I'm.
That's not bad.
Wrong.
That's not bad.
The not having God. So is that like? I know your parents were both atheists. Is that more like a? Is that more like a? You don't know what happened. Like you just. Is it more of like an uncertainty or like you think when you die you're dead and that's just it?
Yeah, just dead.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I know that's a bummer.
Yeah.
But just because it's a bummer doesn't mean it's not true.
Right. I mean, it's a reality that you sort of have to accept sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people get like so wrapped up. Like it's like if I told you pro wrestling was not real all the way, and you always thought it was.
Yeah.
Like it's just
just how life is. It's a fact. Facts are facts.
It may be that way, and maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
That's why I keep going. Like like the infinite time that you spend in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be light and love. In living in a place of light and love. I'm like, why can't I live in a place of light and love now in case that doesn't exist?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel, and I know people always say, well, hey, atheism is just as shitty as religion because how come you know? Like you're saying you know there's no God. That's just as bad as a guy going, I know there is a God. And I just think, well, one of them is rational. Like if you put a gun to my head and said, is there a God? And they said, if I answer incorrectly, I'll get shot in the temple, I would say, bring it on. I believe there isn't one that much. Oh, wait, are you religious?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Thank
no,
God.
no.
I'm just trashing it in front of you. I never knew.
No, I said I'm not really. I live more in the religion of role models.
Role models are good, but you got to be a role model too. You can't just right.
That's you
got to break away.
I'm praying to the role model.
Right,
that is me.
A role model. You see those rockets shoot off of NASA, and they have the boosters on the side, and eventually the boosters break off.
Yeah,
that's you. You're the booster. And the role model is the rocket, and you're hanging on to it, then eventually you break off and become your own thing.
Right.
That's the goal with the role model. Then you're somebody else's role model.
Hopefully. Well, I mean, I feel like sometimes there's, memories that I can hold on to. Mm-hmm. Both memories that I saw when I was a kid that, inspired me to be what I am, and then memories that I hold on to hoping that someone else remembers that as a kid.
There you go.
And
that's good.
I had this, thing. When I have a little sister who's 11 years younger than me, when she was in kindergarten, she got ringworm. They had Adventure Gym in her school. She got ringworm on the side of her face, and it looked, if you squinted, it looked like letters that spelled out scat, the word
Interesting.
Scat. And I jokingly called her Scatface once when she was 7 or 8. When she was 17, 18, she brought it up.
Whoa.
And has resented me for it that entire time.
Holy shit, Dick.
And I was like, I can't tell you how sorry I am. I've done so many other things that weren't that piece of shit thing. Mm-hmm. But I hope that you don't hold on to that and think that's the person that I was.
Yeah.
So that scares me when I think about like my girlfriend wants us to have kids, and I think about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh man, one word, one thing you say, I just had this conversation with my father, who I wasn't raised by, but he was around for a little while, and he was a dick, and I was like, you have to understand, you are before you, all we know is this is one of 10 years. I'm 10 years old. Every year, when you're a kid, feels like you're waiting forever for your birthday. But now that you're older, those years don't feel like they take as long for the next birthday. So all the information that I take in at this young age versus all the information I take at as an older age, you know what I mean? That's all way more vital to make up who I am. So if you come into my life and you introduce me to shit that I didn't like, that I didn't know, it's not like there's a whole bunch of other options in my head. You're what is God to me. You know what I mean? You are the only Netflix subscription I have.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
That's all you know.
he introduced me to the N-word. I didn't know before he came around. He introduced me to pussy. He not actual pussy, just
the idea.
word, or like talking about like objectifying women. When I was raised up until that point, like he came around when I was like 12.
Who is this guy?
My father.
Oh, he sounds like a bad egg. All I've heard is he told you how to objectify women in the N-word.
Right? Yeah. So, like I was raised by my mom, like single mom. And then he comes around and he like objectifies her in front of me.
Eee.
And then I'm like, she's not somebody to be objectified in my eyes. She's an angel, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then that in a way was served as a role model for me to be anything but that.
Aha, got it.
In the conversation I had with him, I said, look, man, I love you unconditionally and I forgive you for everything you did without you ever even asking me because I know you're not aware enough to know that you fucked me up.
Right.
Like, I actually went into a thing yesterday. I was talking about somebody who like plays the victim on everything, and they instead of taking responsibility or accountability for anything, they just sort of blame away.
Those people are never going to do well.
And I said when he gets into his defending himself mode, I said that's when he turns into his unaware wolf.
Ooh, I like it. I like that a lot.
So it's like
that's good.
You gotta apologize for shit that's wrong.
You gotta internalize.
Own your stuff.
Yeah, or else you'll never grow or get better. Unaware. It's a full moon, and you can't stop blaming everyone else.
Right.
Well,
take that with you.
I think that's a good place to wrap her up here. I think we nailed it there.
Okay. Is there anything that you take as like a final message? Because this is what I always ask right at the end. I always say like, if this was all of a sudden evolving with Mark Norman, if this was your podcast and I happen to be here hanging with you on it, and you wanted to have like a takeaway message that was like the exact theme, like Jerry Springer's final thought.
You got it.
Like,
moment
from
is
you.
I hear you. Yeah, I think a lot of things. Be yourself. Figure out who that is, and be it all the way. Internalize when things are going wrong. Don't blame everyone else. Blame yourself too. You're part of this as well. And there is no God. So handle your own shit. Stop relying on others, and be a good person for others. And for yourself, not because some book told you to. Grow the hell up, people. I think that's it. Grow up.
Grow up.
Grow up, find a role model, and be a role model, and quit being a douche. Hear, hear. Praise Allah.
Well, I feel that you are a lovely man.
Oh, come on.
Also, like, I always say to anybody, if, like, you feel like there's some knowledge you can get from me, or if there's some support, or I can be a resource to you in any way, please don't hesitate to ask me if you want to text me or whatever. You have if you need to just talk to somebody, judgment.
All right, I appreciate it.
I'm always there. And
thank you.
We're friends now. So.
Hey.
So let's be friends.
All right, well, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
now that we're friends.
Yes, now I can be myself.
All right, man. Well,
thank you for having me.
Everybody, thanks for listening and keep evolving.
Yes.